Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here, and I'm not alone. I'm joined by the Inkling, Mr. Xeon.
I'm a squid now, and not a kid, believe it or not.
And the Octoling, Mr. Felix. There we go. I was really hoping you'd do that.
Wow, it's me.
So yes, we've just finished watching the Splatoon 3 Direct, and we've only blinking got some thoughts, and we're going to, vomit them at you right now.
Alex only has a bajillion notes.
Yeah, I take down a lot of notes for these sort of things. There'll probably be small details that we missed, including one thing that I do want to bring up about there are checkpoints now in Rainmaker. I'm saying it now so that I can't, if I forget it later, I've still mentioned it. But should we just go in, I nearly said astronomical order, in chronological order.
Let's do it.
Okay, so they started off showing us Turf War. Woo! There wasn't really much to see there, but it's the same rules as before. We did get to see some non-charged stringer shots, maybe not for the first time, but got to see a good deal of that. We got to see Squid Surge, which allows you to climb to the top of walls in one big bloomin' boost, which I think we'd seen before with Julie's. People thought that maybe it was a Julie's exclusive thing. This appears to not be the case. I may also be wrong about saying people thought it was Julie's exclusive. But we also got a better look at the Squid roll, which we'd sort of seen before, but only just seeing it. And it appears, from what they've said, to have ink repellent invulnerability frames, which... Ooh. Oh my god, that sounds good. It's not clear how we do either of these moves. I can't imagine the Squid rollers just jumping out of the ink, but we'll find out shortly, I'm sure. I'm really excited by these. Movement options are always good.
It looked very because sometimes you feel, I'm very slow. It just adds a lot of, adds a whole new aspect to the game.
It adds a lot of urgency, doesn't it, to your movement?
Yeah, and these are all things that were just added to the character in general, right? Not you don't have to be using a certain weapon or something like that to have this ability. No, I mean, if that is the case, then they massively missold it. So, yeah. As the casual Splatoon fan over here,
I
will ask little questions like that here and there just to correct myself.
That's fine. As much as anything, I also don't want to commit to anything because you never know for certain until you actually play a game yourself. But then we got to see some of the new maps. We got Scorch Gorge, Eel Tail Alley, which is fun to say, Mincemeat Metalworks, Undertow Spillway, and Hagglefish Market. They all... we didn't really get a properly good look at them just because I've found this with all of the Splatoon games. You never really understand and appreciate a map until you actually play it.
Hagglefish Market, I think, was the one that Felix and I both really got excited about because that one just looked... I don't know, it looked very fun and full of life, unlike some of the other ones just look a little sad, maybe?
Well, they just don't look as colorful, but I still think they look really I think they look really fun. Again, you can't really judge it before actually playing the stages, but I agree with Sion. Hagglefish Markets looks... Oof.
Yeah, I love the aesthetic of it, but then again, I really like the aesthetic of the others as well. I think we're getting a bit more variety, tonal variety. I mean, Eel Tail Alley is pretty standard, but Mincemeat Metalworks, I really like the look of, and the same with Undertow Spillway. They've got a really sort of industrial feel about them, which, we've had bits like that before. I just really like them, I'm always a sucker for sort of industrial, sort of big metal grimy. It just feels very robust to me, and I enjoy that. But we also got some returning stages. We got Museum Dalfonzino, we got Hammerhead Bridge, and Mahi Mahi Resort. And no doubt we're going to have plenty of other returning maps as well, because they mentioned that the new maps are in the Splatlands, and the returning maps are in the Greater Inkopolis. So clearly just hey, here's a reason why these are back. It's just a bit of canon.
The water in Mahi Mahi Resort was... ridiculous. Did it look this good in Splatoon 2? I don't remember.
I mean, without looking at it, I couldn't really say because I'm never really focusing on the water when I play. But yeah, it looks good.
Good. Well, I guess I'm curious to see what other people think of it then too, because this, I don't know. Maybe it was the fact that I just watched a video about Wave Race Blue Storm last night. I don't know. And that game has good water.
Oh yeah, you saw the Scott the Wasp video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that last night as well.
Did you really? That's amazing.
Yeah. We also found out there's going to be more maps added later, that's news in the slightest. They always do that, but Still good just to have it confirmed. But then we also got the news, and this wasn't really news, but all basic weapons will be returning. We already knew that.
Yeah.
But again, it's just confirmation is just nice sometimes, and it makes me feel happy. We also got a slightly closer look at the stringer, which is a bow. Ooh. But also, we got a brand new weapon, the Splatana, which is a katana-like thing. If you look at it, it's clearly a windscreen wiper, which I am down with. I love that design.
I am pretty surprised that it's a sponge on the end. I kind of thought it would be like a rubber wiper thingy, but maybe
it's based on a windscreen wiper, but if it's gonna hold ink, it really needs something a little bit more absorbent.
That's a very good point. I did forget about that.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks to be like it can be close range and a bit more long range. It looks like a more diverse, brush in a sense.
It's the squeezer of the melee weapon world.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a wonderful addition. I would have hoped maybe for one weapon more, but maybe we'll get it later. I don't know. The two weapons that they have added is very good, and we already have so many weapons from the returning games coming. So yeah, looks good.
I imagine we will get more. I don't know whether they confirmed it in the direct. I didn't write it down as a note. Oh no, I did. They said there are going to be new weapons coming. They didn't say new weapon types. But I think that's pretty likely. They've always got new ideas.
How did they do in Splatoon 2? How many do you know, if they added?
Bloody hell, I don't know.
Okay.
A lot.
Just for, the people watching, I recently started playing Splatoon again. I played a bit at launch, but I've really getting into it for the launch of Splatoon 3, so I just don't know what they added along the way, so that's just why I'm asking.
So in Splatoon 2, we only got, I believe, 2 new weapon types, at least basic weapon types. We got the Brellas, which were really interesting, and we got the Julies, but we got a lot of different variations as well. I really don't feel you can classify a squeezer as just like a shooter. It's really not. It's so different, and arguably the same with the nozzle nose. The nozzle nose did come out in Splatoon 1, but the squeezer was Splatoon 2. We also got things like the Bloblobber, the Goo Tuber, and I think also was the Explosher? Yeah, the Explosher was new as well, and also things like the Nautilus, the Ballpoint Splatling. There was loads of new stuff.
Okay.
And it's going to be I'm looking forward to the new stuff they introduce in Splatoon 3, like new variations, new little wrinkles like that. Then we got a look at some of the new specials. Some of them weren't. They started talking about new specials, and they were showing off the Killer Whale 5.1, which we've seen. So that's why it's the first in my list of notes. But then we also got to have a look at the Tacticooler, which is just it just drops the thing down like a cooler, and it's got 4 buffs on it, as drinks. That's so cool. How have they not done that before? It's one of those things where I look at it and it's so obvious.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's wow, because we've kind of had something similar with Ink Armor, but it looks like these, because of the fact that you've actually got to go to the cooler, it looks like it may be that they're more substantial. We don't know.
And did they say if it's going to be the same kind of buff every time, or if each can will offer the same kind? So it wouldn't make sense to, for someone to steal all 4, they would just take one and get a speed boost, or do you know what kind of buffs they offer even?
I know one of them was a speed boost, but it may well be that you get a variety of buffs, in one drink, or they are random. They didn't really elaborate too much, and I've only seen the footage once, so I'm not sure I could analyze it at this point in time.
Sure.
The sort of indication that they gave is that it's 1 per person.
Good.
Okay,
Otherwise, I can see that being, either completely overpowered or, I can't see why they would make it. It's a team game. Why make it where 1 person can get all the benefit? It doesn't make any sense.
It looked like you could take 1, and then we'll see.
Share the load.
It was one of the things I was actually most excited to see, because getting into Splatoon 2, the specials are just so fun, and to try different types of specials. So it's nice that we're actually getting a handful of new ones.
Yeah, it is good to see more variety in that regard, because I imagine, kind of in a fighting game, weapons probably are a lot of effort goes into making sure that they're balanced, I imagine. And the specials, maybe they, realize that maybe they can have a bit more fun with something like that. and get a bit more experimental and make something like, a cooler that drops soda pop for your Inklings to drink on the field. Sure.
They never cease to surprise me with, like, I sort of think, okay, well, they've kind of done everything they can, surely now. And every single time I think that, they completely batter me senseless with their new and original ideas. Like the Wave Breaker, which is another thing that you, like, lay down, but it like, sends out these waves that mark opponents and does damage to them, and it does, like, several waves. So it's a really strong defensive weapon.
Yeah.
But enemies can jump over these waves, but here's the thing. If you jump over the waves, you reveal your position anyway if anyone's looking directly at you. So it's a good way to kind of force people out of hiding.
Yeah, I can see that.
Cool.
It looked really interesting. I know me and Cian saw it together and we were like, pretty neat.
It would be really great in something like Rainmaker if you're about to make a push. You can go into the enemy base, put one down, get an eye on where everyone is. Within reason, obviously people can still avoid it, so, there's not like a golden bullet or anything like that, but it allows the Rainmaker to make a much more, confident approach, and that's really cool.
The reef slider also, that looked fun.
It did. That is going to be so good. If, the enemies are holding a really strong defensive line, use that, because it's not like the Booyah Bomb or anything else where you throw something in, but you actually slide into position and then explode, which appears to be quicker than, throwing something like the Booyah Bomb in or something similar.
Yeah.
But also, it moves you into position, doesn't really give them a chance to escape. You're immediately a threat.
Yeah, it's like a splashdown, but where you get there really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine the screams of your opponents as you slide into the field with one of those.
Oh, the shark! Look out!
We've also seen some returning stuff, things like Tenta Missiles, Inkjet, Inkstorm, Ultra Stamp, and Booyah Bomb. I'm fairly certain we've seen other returning ones in previous stuff, but nothing immediately comes to mind. I'm keen to see some new stuff as well. The ones that we've seen are cool, but I would like to see even cooler than the Tacticooler.
They also, they didn't talk about it, but it was showed in the reveal trailer of the release date. The crab tank, and there's one where you, become Spider-Man, which is really cool.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There is quite a few new ones. 6 new that we know of? That's pretty nice.
But then it moved on to, and we'll just do this briefly, Ammo Knights is back, and all the headgear stuff and that. Interestingly, they've changed the way that you get new weapons. You now get Sheldon licenses rather than using standard currency, which is an interesting idea, and I quite like it.
I'm all up for it. And they also said that, if you don't want to buy the ones for because every weapon normally costs 1 Sheldon token or whatever they're called. Mm-hmm. But let's say there's a weapon you want, but you haven't unlocked it yet. Before you just had to play a lot to, go up levels, but now you can pay 3 Sheldon tokens and then you can get that weapon before before you would normally do that. And that's so nice inclusion.
Yeah, it's a small thing, but it would really annoy me when I was playing Splatoon 2 after just, coming hot off the heels of Splatoon 1, being, rather experienced and being locked out of weapons, and it's just like, no, just give me the weapon! So this is a great way to kind of satisfy the hardcore people, without having to, massively grind levels, to be able to get the weapons that they want more quickly. We then got to see the new gear shops. So we got the headgear shop run by Gnarly Eddie and Nails. Then we also saw clothing and footwear. Mr. Coco's pretty cool. They're just characters.
Mr. Coco's so fun. Cool. Oh
yeah,
my God.
I like Mr. Coco.
That's my new favorite character.
There's not a great deal to say about them. It's just like, hey, you can buy shoes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Then we got to see abilities returning, which we pretty much assumed. More importantly, though, oh my God, thank whoever created this. Finally, we have loadouts. I can't remember what they called them, but they're loadouts. So your gear and your weapon, you can save them as a thing rather than going, okay, well, I think I'll try and use the blah blobber now. That means I've got to change my headgear, I've got to change my shoes, I've got to change my shirt. That was irritating. You had to remember each one. finally you can just use a loadout. You could do it in Splatoon 2, but it required amiibo, and that was stupid.
Yeah, and you can have up to 5. So, like, if you have a couple of different weapons you can have specific gear assigned to those loadouts. And, looks so nice. I'm very happy.
I would like a few more than 5, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, well, it is a bit like of a bummer that they like have to put a cap on that, but it was really cool like seeing the player on screen like hopping between their different loadouts and seeing like how diverse of like equipment like customization you can have set up. Because I think oftentimes like when I would play, like I said, I was very casual, but I would stick with like I would find a set of gear that I liked and then I would never change it because it was, I don't know, it's not like it was like an inconvenience to change it, but you just stick with something. Yeah. So it is. I'll take 5 is nice. I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, it could be 3. Imagine that.
Oh no.
It could be none, you know?
It could be more, but it's just nice. It's here. Very welcome feature.
They then revealed that ranked battles have been replaced by anarchy battles, which are exactly the same thing. I think it's just a semantic thing. Maybe they wanted to move away from the idea of like, oh, Turf War is just, it's for fun, but ranked is where it's really at, But I don't know. And they've got Anarchy Battle series, which is if you're on your own, and Anarchy Battle Open, which is if you're on a team. It's the same thing. They've rebadged it, you fool.
But it says, like, under win 5 and triumph, lose 3 and you're out. Solo players only with the Anarchy Battle series. What's that about?
I imagine I don't know.
Is it just the way you, like, rank up? So, there's a picture here.
Oh, of course, yeah, like in the, sort of in the olden days, the current days, rather, if you lose too many battles, you go down a rank.
Yeah, but I didn't like there. It was just like it cracked and they didn't really say how many you had to lose. So here's like, yeah, it makes sense. Win 5, triumph, lose 3, you're out. Yeah.
It's very cut and dry in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
Mm-hmm.
They also did reveal that all the game modes, which are returning, all 4 of the previous rank modes return, they have said that they will be available on rotation. So rotation is still a thing, which I'm not entirely against, but at the same time, I was kind of hoping maybe like two game modes at a time. Maybe it will be. I don't know, but I have mixed feelings about rotation. I understand why it's there, and it may be better that it's there. You're always guaranteed to find a match, but at the same time, sometimes I don't want to play Clan Blitz.
So, it also sucks a bit because let's say you and your friends really want to play Splat Zones, and then, oh no, we have to play Rainmaker. We don't want to play that. Well,
I always want to play Rainmaker, but
Uncle Nintendo, I don't want to play Rainmaker.
We have Rainmaker at home.
I actually do find rotation quite... I'm actually fine with it, just because I would not try all the modes otherwise, and I think all the modes are fine. Like, I have fun with them all, and it also just, then you don't have to like, oh, do I want to play this? Do I want to play that? Oh, that lobby doesn't have enough players because no one wants to play that. I understand why it's still returning. I also understand why people don't like the feature, but I'm cool with it. I like it. I'm fine.
Yeah, I do think you're right. That I probably wouldn't play some of the game modes if it weren't for the fact that rotation is there. And it's kind of like, well, I'm going to play tonight. Let's see what's happening. Rather than oh, let's go and play this. And as you say, no one's in the lobby. That wouldn't be fun.
And next, there was a thing you were really excited for. It's ghosts.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I love ghosts.
And these are friendly ghosts.
They sort of revealed it and they sort of explained what was going on, but they didn't go into any major details. So essentially what it appears to be is you can go to the test range, which is now also a lobby. Yeah, and you have the ghosts of your friends. And you can, like, get in a lobby with them and, like, join a match together and stuff like that. It reminded me of the lobbies that you get into in the Pokemon games on the Game Boy, where you both land and you can both walk around together, and it was like, oh my god, we're in the same space. It's not a great comparison, but it's something. But they didn't like fully explain. Like, they said you can like drop in on friends mid-battle, but I can't imagine that would be you joining them mid-game because it would have to boot someone out.
But they did say that though. They did say mid-battle, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did, but it may just be like joining a queue, like you do at the moment.
Yeah, probably will be like that. But, battling up as a team in Turf War, that's amazing. It's all I ever wanted. And also, just to have something to do while you're waiting, you can just test fire out. I love it.
Yeah, that's a much better use rather than just sitting there in the lobby going. I'm so pleased we did the same bit.
If only they had a Squid Jump arcade in the corner.
Oh, I love Squid Jump. Oh my god, hopefully they do. We also got to see they're going to be having battle replays now, which is interesting. It's just like Smash, you know? You
That's super
replay
nice.
the battles.
That's really nice. Like, if you want to improve, you can just look your battles again and see, I need to improve this aspect or that aspect, because before you couldn't really replay anything, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I love this feature. It's very welcome, and you can share it. And I know Paul will be very happy for this, because he's always sharing stuff online, and he's always just capturing those 30 seconds you can with this.
Then they showed us the locker room, which is just like, hey, customize your locker with items.
I will say, the locker, me and Cian, was probably the thing that got the most reaction out of us. That looks really nice.
It doesn't look bad. I just can see me like going, haha, I made a locker once, and then that's it. You know, just going to be playing the game after that.
I think there's some charm. There's some charm to like having your own locker and like having it
and you can
next
see your
to
friends.
It's like school all over again.
Yeah, and
I never had a locker.
No, same. So it'll be a great opportunity to get one, Alex.
Exactly.
About that. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, the DLC for New Horizons, and it's just like a tiny version of that. You like have to, make your locker instead of rooms for your villages. I don't know. It just seems really nice, and you can go to the shop and get the things you want.
So then after this was Hotlantis, I think, right? Which is the shop where you can buy like customization features for like your lockers and stuff. But within the background of this shot, like you can see there's an arcade cabinet sitting on the ground, like a traditional Japanese style arcade. And then the character that runs the shop, Harmony, is actually using the Ultra Hand that Gunpei Yokoi made, which is the guy that made the Game Boy. And then
she is, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like there's got to be other things like on the wall that I haven't noticed too, but like some of the merchandise that they have for sale, like the little Splatoon plush like pillows that are on the wall, are like things you can buy.
Yeah.
You can like buy those in real life. And I just
got
love
one.
Oh, do you? Yeah. So like
I
don't know, that section I
really caught your eye.
Yeah, it really did. And the standout of the direct for me.
And man, they just really nail the character designs on these ones. So good.
We also got to see splash tags, which we knew about from before, or at least we discerned from previous footage, which is, you can have your characters, you can have a banner with a badge and a title. You can also choose your emote when you win, which you buy from Hotlantis, your favorite shop.
That's super sick.
You can also dab.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Felix?
Shut up.
Yeah, that's super sick. That's what
It's
the young
okay.
people do, isn't it?
I used to dab for a little point in my life. I've stopped doing it now, but I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
I only do it to embarrass others.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's good.
They also said that there's going to be a new item catalog released every 3 months for 2 years after launch, so loads of new gubbins.
Loads of new. And then the whole thing took a 180. Tell us about it,
It did a bit. Yeah, a table turf battle, which is like a card game. 1v1. It's so weird, but I kind of like it. It's like, hey, there's Gwent, there's...
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about.
Another card game.
It's a card game inside a game, and it's just, it's just a side thing, but we just know so many people are going to get more invested in this than the actual game, and I just love when they add stuff like that.
I didn't really understand the gameplay of the card game right away either, but I now do, and I love the fact that basically you play these different squares out onto the map to try to cover as much of the map in your ink as possible again, just like in Splatoon. So it's hilarious that they really made a card game that plays like Splatoon, but in this simplistic form.
I also talked with Cian about like the presenter of this whole direct did a splendid job.
Yeah.
The presenter of this discussion like kept my excitement levels like high for 6 a.m. For all of us in the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast.
She went off the roof doing that section with the cards. For real.
Moving on, we also got another look at Salmon Run, which there was nothing massively new here. We saw some new boss salmonids, the slamming lid and the big shot. The slamming lid creates like a shield for enemies. Yeah. And slams down if you get too close, so be careful. And the big shot it fires big shots. But then, much more interestingly, we saw that after Wave 3 ends, there appears to be a chance for an emergency to happen, which will spawn one of, presumably several, king salmonids, which they look absolutely terrifying. And yeah. I love it. I mean, there are so many times when you get into the professional ranks in Salmon Run where you like just get to the end of Wave 3 and you're like, yes, just got through. Yeah. And it's just like, it's a huge relief. So then to have that then turned on its head and have to fight a king salmonid.
You throw your eggs at them. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't like completely sure what that was, but it appears to be like a new unique weapon for that instance.
Yeah. And then you also fight on like old stages. That looked cool.
Well, that was part of the big run, I think.
Yeah, what's that?
They're only teasing it. I get the feeling that it's going to be a bit like a Splatfest. Yeah. But it's gonna, and the salmonids invade either old stages or part of Inkopolis, where rather than these separate areas where you go to, they come to you. That's really exciting.
That is really exciting, yeah. Like, Salmon Run was one of my favorite modes from Splatoon 2, so I'm just really stoked to jump into it again. It's so fun if you, like, get 3 friends together and play it. So nice. Egg throws!
Throw the damn eggs!
Oh my god.
It did feel a bit to me like there weren't... Like, I mean, I know there are a lot of changes to this mode, but it felt a bit like they didn't really add a ton of new things for this being like a new Splatoon game, for Salmon Run at least. But I think...
Why mess with perfection?
Exactly. I was just going to say, don't fix what isn't broken, So it's... and it is a lot of fun to play. So no complaints on my end.
And then right after, it was story mode time, and I thought, hell yeah, let's go. Okay, now we go. And then it was over before it started.
Yeah, they were really brief with it. They were just like, hey, you can go through stages with the help of your friend Small Fry, which is ultra adorable, by the way. But yeah, it just appears to be level based like the previous games. It looks very similar to Octo expansion in some areas, which is not a bad thing. But the initial reveal showed like a desert world or something. Is that just set dressing? Or, I mean, I was really hoping for an overworld.
Well, it did look like Felix and I were talking about the fact that it looked like there were more cutscenes this time around. So it could be that that desert was exactly as like you said, that it just kind of it helps kind of illustrate the world and the levels that you'll play in. But maybe it's not an actual level you'll partake in, which is a bummer. But
it really looked like standard movement gameplay rather than like the walking cycle was just the standard walking cycle, suggesting it was gameplay.
Maybe that's
rather
just
than
how
a cutscene.
That's maybe just how the game starts. You start out in the desert and then you take the train into the city. Oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah, and maybe that could be that that is something that you roam around in, but maybe it just isn't how the majority of the game will play. Maybe there will be little sections like that where you get to walk through a thing. I really hope that is the case. That would be really nice because I played Splatoon. I'll bring it up every chance I get. I played Splatoon 2's campaign beginning to end. Still have not played the Octo expansion, and I liked it, but I just kind of forgot about a lot of it. It felt like an afterthought. And this time around, it looks like there's a bit more going on, but still not like it's the
sets looks really cool though.
Yeah.
But I will also say I was a bit disappointed that it just looked like, this is again just, go through stages, learn the basics, and then you can go into online mode and stuff.
Yeah.
But like there was this one shot that reminded me a lot of, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where you see like the cities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know which shot.
Mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we've seen that shot before.
Yeah, we have, but it just looks so good.
Yeah. Although they did say that it's the conclusion to the 3. It's like a conclusion of the story.
Okay, I did not hear
Not that there was like a massive continuing thread. I mean, there is to a degree, but it's not like super deep or anything like that. So hopefully they add a bit more flesh to the story.
Yeah.
You know, if the Illumination Mario movie does well enough, I wouldn't be mad if they tried to tackle a Splatoon movie. But also,
there's so much
that'd
potential.
be rough to do though, because you couldn't really use English as the dialogue. It wouldn't work.
English.
Maybe they could have their kind of like underneath them, like underneath the dialogue in the background, so like you still hear it, like it sounds alien.
Hey, I'm an Inkling.
They'll get Chris.
They get Chris Pratt to do a Brooklyn accent.
To just do every character. He's so cool.
I take back what I said, though, about Illumination. Don't let them touch Splatoon. It needs to be a Japanese animation film or studio that
anime
does.
with Splatoon would also be really cool.
True.
Then they had a load of other smaller things like, hey, you can post illustrations again. They'll appear in games. Food and drink returns. But then there's also like photo mode, recon guide, which allows you to go into stages.
That's super nice.
Yeah,
they've had that before.
Oh, really?
Have they? What?
Yeah. Or at least they had it in Splatoon 1. Maybe they had it in Splatoon 2. I don't know. I never used it.
So if it is in Splatoon 2, please tell me. I need to go into those stages and just look around because...
Then we got to see Splatnet 3. And it's the same as 2, basically. It's on NSO, but Krusty Sean returns, which is actually really cool. I like Krusty Sean. There's like something you can do with like the specific areas you ink in a game or something. They didn't elaborate. I had no idea what was going on, but it was possibly interesting.
Maybe, perhaps, possibly.
Then we got Amiibo. We got to see some new Amiibo, including a small fry Amiibo.
Oh, it looks so nice.
I'm going to buy that set, and I'm going to open it. I'm just going to let you know.
No!
Yeah,
it's
really
the same
good.
stuff as before. Like, you get special gear from the Amiibo, and you can save gear combos to Amiibo. You can take a photo with a dabbing Inkling Amiibo. Yeah, you know, it's that's pretty much the size of it.
I will say I'm glad that they're doing Amiibo again, because like it feels like every like 6 months or 8 months like we go without a set. Like I feel like the last big Nintendo one was Monster Hunter Rise, which Capcom, but then Metroid Dread. And I still think that the Splatoon 2 Amiibo are some of the best quality Amiibo out there, because they have that that
gorgeous,
right?
Yeah.
They have that glossy look, and they're big enough that like they can really hold detail on like Marth and the Fire Emblem like Smash characters, and
they got better with Amiibo. Even the Smash ones, like Min Min, is drop dead gorgeous.
You're right. That's a good point. Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to these, even though they're just hunks of plastic once again.
Then we got onto the post-launch stuff. They said, hey, after launch, there's going to be new weapons. X Battle, which I believe is just X rank. At least it appears to be the same thing, but again, they didn't elaborate. League Battle is coming. It's not going to be there at launch, though, and I don't know why. I really like League Battle.
Yeah, that was a bit weird, but maybe it's because now you can create lobbies and just, play in, League Battle was mainly there so you could, play together as a team in the different, ranked modes, Yeah, I don't know. It's still weird that it isn't there at launch.
Maybe it's going to be, League Battle's going to be a little bit more hardcore, and League Battle as we know it now is kind of just going to be the standard Anarchy Battle.
Probably, presumably.
We also learned that there's going to be major paid DLC, and they used some silhouettes not to give away who it's about. It's Marina and Pearl.
You could tell that from the silhouettes, Alex?
I've played the games before, Sunshine.
I actually did. I saw that in your notes and was like, oh, I didn't notice that. So as sarcastic as I was, I really props to you for paying enough, paying attention. You did it.
Paying any amount of attention.
I just was. Yeah. Who knows where I was?
We also got to see the new idols. We got to see Deep Cut, which is not one, not two,
but 7.
Not 4, but 3 characters. We've got Fry, Shiver, and obviously the best one, Big Man.
Okay, important question. Which team are you? I'm Team Fry.
Big Man.
Well, Sion, then you're the emo, right?
Yeah, that's not Fry, is it? I can't remember their names
That's
yet.
Shiver. Yeah, we have one each.
Ooh.
Nice.
Hey!
Woo!
What a shame you two picked the wrong one.
Hey, that's not fair.
they're basically going to take the roles of Marina and Pearl. You know, they're going to do the intro at the start. They're going to run the Splatfests. And this was a point when I noticed that overall, this game has a much stronger Japanese vibe. I would say that Splatoon 2 had kind of it was almost kind of a slightly American vibe, or sort of potentially the Japanese perception of American culture. But this is definitely much harder, you know, sort of traditional Japanese stylings. And I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, my God, this whole franchise is like just oozing with charm. I love everything, like the visuals, so much attention to detail, and like they have these small characters there. And
it is nice that like these new characters too don't really act as like replacements necessarily. Like, you know, Pearl and Marina and oh my gosh, I'm blanking the other two's names. I should know them, but
Callie and Mari, or Marie.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Callie and Marie. Yeah, they like they're all so distinct. I feel like this is a bad example, but it's like Disney princesses. We're just like getting all sorts of different characters to like as representation in Splatoon. And I think that's really, I like admire that. I think it's really special.
Yeah, you could definitely see the cultural impact, you know, at least with these two characters. That was really nice.
Yeah, I agree.
But Big Man is the best.
No changing Alex on that. And that's fine. That is fine.
So what? They're talking, and then there's like, you can press down the L stick to listen to Splatcast. Does that mean you can actually don't have to stay through the cutscene?
Felix is so excited. He's like begging Nintendo, please.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, because then you see in the lobby, you can see like in the top left corner, you actually see like, watch the news if you press down the L stick. So I actually do think that almost confirms that you don't have to watch it.
You don't want to spend a few minutes with Big Cut? Or deep cut?
Well, yeah, I do, but I also just want to have the option to just, you know, just go into a battle. Don't have to watch that every time I boot up the game.
But what if you don't know what the maps are, Felix, or the game modes?
Well, it still tells me up in the left corner. That's the cool thing.
I'm just poking you now. I'm trying it.
It was like the thing I was mostly hoping for, and it actually looks like
that is a fact. You have brought that up on multiple occasions, and I hope you get your wish. I do.
Did Felix just fall off his chair?
I think so. He is gone now.
Bye-bye, Felix.
It's nice knowing you.
We also got to see Splatfests returning.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, good.
And the music had the whistling sounds from ARMS in it for some reason.
I love that you noticed that.
I knew it's the sort of thing where I heard it and I was like, I've got to write this down even though it doesn't matter. Interestingly though, Splatfests are going to change. Each round of Splatfest is going to have two halves, which is a standard 4v4 rather, and then a 3-team tri-color battle, because Splatfests now have 3 options rather than just one. And the way that the tri-color battle works is that in the middle, on either side, you have the leading team, all 4 members. And then at the opposing ends, you have 2 members from each of the other teams working presumably together. I don't fully know how it's going to work, but it looks fun.
It doesn't sound fair either.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Like, there's no way they would make it unfair.
Sure.
But just that they're like changing it up, that I really admire that, because people have been talking about, let's have multiple teams. That while it's not like exactly 3 teams, it's really close.
I think it would be all too easy to just kind of like bully and too difficult to balance 3 teams. But from the way they described it, I think the two teams of 2, even though they're on different teams, are working together.
Yeah.
It's not entirely clear, and I don't know whether if we say the team in the middle is Team A, the other 2 teams are B and C. I don't know whether Team B could swim in Team C's ink. I would assume not. Otherwise, why would you make it a different color? But maybe you can. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm representing my team.
I wasn't really around for Splatfest, but I'm really excited for it to take place.
You are in for a treat. Splatfests are great. And more importantly, there is going to be a Splatfest before the game comes out. On the 27th of August, there's going to be a Splatfest premiere.
Yeah.
It's going to be a free pre-release download, and the options in this Splatfest are rock, paper, and scissors. And this is a really good way to promote the game, I think. It's like, hey, it's a celebration, free download, enjoy the game. I think it's a very, very clever idea.
Yeah, you basically get to try out like one of the best things that Splatoon has to offer in like the full capacity. It's not limited in that regard, and as long as this test fire-esque Splatfest goes down without any hitches, it sounds like I agree, it sounds like a fantastic idea.
Oh, I can't wait to play this, and I'm also just really excited because it seems like Sion, you also gonna try it out, so we're actually all three gonna be playing this game, and that's just gonna be very nice.
We should stream it.
I'd be
Good
down.
idea. I'll be down as well.
If you want us to stream it, leave a comment down below saying, stream the damn game, you fool! But that was the Splatoon 3 Direct. Overall, what did you guys think?
First time I watched it, I was like, it looks all right. But now going through it and seeing actually all the changes they brought, I was like, wow, I'm actually really hyped now. So that's great. And the visuals look really nice compared to 2. And yeah, there was a bit of a hiccup some places where it looked like background characters were 5 frames per second, similar to Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which
I noticed
can be a bit off-putting. But maybe it's something they patched, and if not, it doesn't really matter. The game looks fantastic, and I can't wait to try out the first Splatfest when it comes here. Was it the 27th of August?
I believe so, yes. That's what I wrote down in my notes. So if that's not the date, it's embarrassing.
Can't wait.
And they also announced that at PAX West on September 5th, Nintendo's going to be hosting a Splatoon 3 tournament as well.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so that was only in the North American Direct, actually, at least from what I saw, because Felix was watching that one, and then I was watching the UK one, I'm assuming, with you then in turn as well, so...
Yeah, and you're going to be at PAX. So.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be watching the tournament. I suppose. Definitely not playing. No, not participating. Nope. Only
you mean
participating.
you're not gonna rock up Paxing Heat?
You know what? Well, you know what I could do is I could actually make a Release Mother 3 poster and hold that up in the background. Could I get on camera with a Mother 3 poster? I gotta write this down.
That's cool. That's going to be a great video.
I feel like Alex has some positive things to say, so I kind of just want to get my negatives out here quick about the presentation, which is just that I feel, as a casual Splatoon fan, I feel like there wasn't really enough, like, wow moments for me in this Direct, or even just features, really, to kind of pull somebody in who's maybe played Splatoon 2 before and then just, like, didn't really... latch on to it necessarily. Like the big thing I was hoping for really here, kind of that we've all discussed before, is the campaign. I was really hoping that this was going to be, that we were going to get this campaign with like full flat solid ground levels that we could roam around on that were much more expansive, and we didn't really get that. And the new Splatfest mode is really nice, or the changes that they're making to Splatfest is really cool. But I just think that the game is missing that wow feature, and I'm still going to get it because I'm excited to play with all of you, and it's like it's going to be fun to go back and play Splatfests again, because I really did like joining in on those in Splatoon 1 and 2, but just as a casual, I think that's how I kind of felt about it. But I
mean, I'm a bit of a Splatoon nerd, and I absolutely loved it. Taking all the notes and everything, it felt a bit like information overload, but I can understand, Felix, how watching it, sort of I mean, I know you're still into Splatoon, but I think it's fair to say I'm more into it.
I feel like I'm getting into it, and I've been having so much fun the last couple of weeks with Splatoon 2. Alex and your friend Paul people has just been really nice and like, yeah, let's get you in, and we just play. And even though I'm not the best, it's still really fun. So I'm trying to get in there, and there was just like, now that I've played Splatoon 2, I can really appreciate all the changes they're bringing to Splatoon 3, where as a casual player, I could see that, well, maybe there isn't like that wow. It's more like they're adjusting things from Splatoon 2 and making them better in Splatoon 3, which is just, I'm excited, and I know you are as well, Alex.
Oh yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes when one of the things that I got really quite excited about was seeing the stringer not using a charge shot. I was just like, ooh, that's the kind of level that I'm working on. But that's what happens when you play it as much as I do. And I do think that is really who they were targeting with this Direct. They weren't trying to reach a wide audience, but Directs aren't really watched by wide audiences anyway. They're always watched by sort of like the really hardcore fans. So I think it was a good angle.
Well, they still explain the basics, like how turf war works and stuff. So even people who didn't know a lot about Splatoon would still like get what they were talking about.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the way to go about it. It does mean that, people like me are sat here going, oh, I know how turf war works, but, they spent, like a minute on it? That's fine. Yeah. Don't even think they spent that long. Exactly. But there you have it. Those are our thoughts on the Splatoon 3 Direct. I thought it was really solid. Xeon hates Splatoon.
I don't hate Splatoon.
But that's only our thoughts. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. We'd love to hear them. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you squid roll towards that subscribe button and time it so you hit it on your iframes. And be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Alex, I would appreciate it if next time you didn't ink me as the villain.